It's time for Tiger Talk, presented by Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. Old Chicago, amazing craft beers and food, north of I-70 in Hayes. Old Chicago, share, reconnect, celebrate. Tiger Talk is also brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, providing the best in-home loans to the Tiger community since 1920. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, part of the University of Kansas Health System, and the official physicians for Fort Hays State University Athletics. The certified public accountants of Adams, Brown, Barron, and Ball. Your trusted advisors, providing you with commitment, experience, and integrity. BTI, your John Deere dealer, with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, Valley Hope of Norton. Get help and find hope. The Taco Shop. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. Horizon Appliance and Mattress. TVs, appliances, Traeger grills, and Tempur-Pedic bedding. Open 7 days a week at 1501 East 27th in Hayes. And Eagle Communications. Internet, TV, phone. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.
And a good Monday. Welcome to Tiger Talk. We're at Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. We record it Mondays over the noon hour, and we're glad to have you aboard as we talk a little Fort Hays State basketball. The women and the men both splitting this week. The women lost and the men won in Emporia. And it was flip-flop. The women won and the men lost at Washburn on Saturday, and now both getting set to return home. Couple of games this week, starting on Thursday night when Fort Hays State will host Missouri Western State, and then Saturday afternoon, the Bearcats of Northwest Missouri State come to the Coliseum. Tiger Talk, again, as we said, recorded at Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room, where you can order online at oldchicago.com. They make your to-go orders a breeze. Old Chicago, they're your craft beer authority north of the interstate in Hayes. Gerard Welbrock joined by head women's coach Tony Hobson. And I guess if you're going to lose on Wednesday, the best is to come back and win on Saturday and gain a split on the road against two in-state rivals. So I guess in that regard, the week ended well after kind of a frustrating and difficult start on Wednesday in Emporia against the Hornets.
The only bad thing about that, other than losing the game, is that you have to live with it for 3 or 4 days in there, and it kind of makes your week miserable. But I thought we bounced back well for the Saturday game, and the Wednesday game was a tough one. Both those teams, we're talking about a 12-4 team and an 11-5 team that was up at the top of the conference going into that game Saturday. So you're playing two quality squads on the road, and both of them are after you. You haven't been beat. So we expected two real tough knockdown dragouts, and that's exactly what we got. Would have liked to have had a different outcome on that Wednesday game, but I guess if you lose your first game of the year in the middle to late January, you can't harp on it too much. Our effort was fine. Our defense was good. We just missed a few too many easy opportunities, and it wasn't from not trying. It just it's just one of those things where we have pretty reliable kids inside shooting a high percentage with Belle and Tatiana, and it was a rough game.
Yeah.
So there was you're going to miss some of those in there when there's a lot of contact, and both ways. I mean, it isn't like they should have had any more called on them. It's just we just would like to have a couple of them back, but we didn't, and we ended up making a heck of a comeback on them and just couldn't quite get it over the hump and get it done on Wednesday.
Well, it looked too because Taylor kind of takes over. Taylor Rolfs in that fourth quarter hit 3 threes, and she rimmed the one in, hit the rim, backboard, and dropped, and gave you the lead, and thought that might get you over the hump, but just wasn't quite meant to be. But she really gave you a spark off the bench and kind of single-handedly helped lead that comeback in the fourth quarter.
Well, she did. Between her offense and then Teague controlling the glass with 15 rebounds, those two had great games. And, Taylor does that. She will I don't know if she can just kind of sense where we need some offense and look for a shot more. But she did that last year at Emporia when we were down, and we had a good comeback, and she hit 3 or 4 threes in a row. And I really thought after we did take the lead, I thought we had a good chance to beat them. We had 3 things happen to us in the last minute and a half, and if just one of those doesn't happen, we win the game. And one of those was tee coast to coast and full bore, missed a shot that she will make, 19 out of 20 times. Then we did not rebound a missed 3 that was costly because they rebounded it, put it back in, got to the line, did miss the free throw, but that's what tied it up. And then they hit a 3 at the end of the shot clock there with at the 15, 16 second mark, with pretty well contested. So those 3 things, if any of them don't happen, we get out of there with a win. Whether we deserved it or not, we still would have. So I was really proud of the way we hung in there. We could have easily went south in that game after the way we started the second half and got down 12 in the first 4 or 5 minutes, and that's where the game was kind of decided. So like I said, at least we didn't lay down and get beat by 20. We made a heck of a comeback, had a good chance to win it.
Last possession, just didn't feel like they didn't get a lot of movement, didn't get a real good look at it. No,
and that's my fault. All I got to go home with that night was a timeout I should have used. Mm-hmm. They're no good in your pocket. And I had 2 left. I called one. We set up a play, and I think we had we had a little time. We had 9 or 10 seconds, if I remember right, and I could see within 2 or 3 seconds that play had gone south. Should have used it and still would have had time to run something in bounds. So I take full responsibility for that. That was just, you hate to use them all, but still, that's one we should have. I can identify those. I mean, I know when the inbounds plays clicking or not, or we have a chance to at least get a shot. And once Taylor had gotten it and kind of tried to go somewhere and got hung up, I think there was still 4 or 5 seconds. Probably should have used it.
It's kind of interesting. You look at that play and then the 3 that they threw in late in the shot clock, late in the game, and it works that way all the time. The last part of the game is magnified, but really we're probably swung us right out of halftime. You had, I think, 4 turnovers, and they go on a 12-0 run, and now you're playing uphill the rest of the way. If you just have 1 or 2 turnovers, it's probably a different outcome.
Oh, absolutely. We had turnovers by people that don't generally turn it over. Lainey had a couple, and she's always pretty secure with the ball. Carly had one. She's always secure with the ball. And Belle has one where she's, like she's been doing, she's pushing the ball up the floor. She thought she was going to be able to set somebody up for a layup and just dribbled one too many times, and they chased her down. So we had 4 kind of rough turnovers there to start, and then didn't get anything on the other end. And that was that's where the game was decided. I mean, if you get down 6, then when we come back and get up 2, we're actually up 8.
Exactly.
So it makes a big difference.
The Tigers came up short in Emporia on Wednesday night in a tough one to the Hornets, but they bounce back and have a nice win on Saturday at Washburn. We'll talk about the matchup with the Ichabods when we return. Tiger Talk recorded at Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. We do it over the noon hour on Mondays. And be sure to check out their late night specials every day, starting at only $3. It's all at Old Chicago, your pizza and craft beer authority. We'll take a break, be back with more right here on Tiger Talk along the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
I'm Patty Stoll, broker-owner of Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. We want your dreams to become a reality. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty prides itself in putting you first.
Up top to Ross. Taylor drives, kicks it over to Page in the corner now to Leggett. Thought about shooting, skips it over the left corner. 3-pointer from Ross is good. Her third of the game. 11 for Taylor.
38-22, Tigers by 16, their largest lead.
Now some of the action, and we are back at Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. We do it over the noon hours on Monday, and Old Chicago inviting you to join them for happy hour from 3 until 6, Monday through Friday. Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. Serious craft brews, seriously good food. Tiger women getting a split this week, losing at Emporia State, and then coming back and winning 59-51 over Washburn on Saturday. And I know after the game you talked about it. You're not big on, a loss can sometimes be a good thing. It refocuses, all those things, but it did seem to get your team back. I mean, defensively, they were locked in. Washburn made that little run in the fourth quarter, but by and large, I mean, your team played a 40 solid minutes of basketball on both ends of the floor.
We did. I think our effort was probably as good top to bottom as we've had, and I'm not sure I've ever had a player play any harder than T played the other night. I mean, it was really crazy. It was fun to watch her. Just her effort and stamina was remarkable. Just going to the glass and just trying just every play was good to see. I thought her and Bell were excellent inside, as they usually are. Bell's a real good defender. Perimeter-wise, I thought we did a really good job of just kind of taking away their perimeter jumpers. I mean, they ended up shooting 3 for 18 or whatever, but a lot. I think Laney tipped a couple. Casey. Taylor didn't score a lot that game, but she played excellent floor game. And then probably Carly played as good a defense as she's played. They're 2 point guards. One played 32 minutes, and the other played 16 or 17, but neither one of them scored. And there's a reason, and the reason was Carly really kept Phelan under wraps, because she's a good she's deceptive on the offensive end, real cagey, smart player, and usually gets off some good shots. And they didn't get much going. And when you can control, the point guard on the other team, when really she's their best player, and when you can control her, it really slows them down. And I thought especially they like to run so much, and they get out and push it, and it's all through their point guard. And we found her early, and Carly worked very hard at just keeping her under control. And I thought that was kind of the key, that set up the defense, because really our defense was, you can't ask for much more. Offensively, we were okay at times, but we got a little nervy there in the fourth quarter. And, it happens. I don't know. You've got two schools of thought. You either run a little clock and try to use it. You got a fairly comfortable lead, but anymore, no lead's real comfortable. I mean, was it 2 years ago at Washburn? We're down
19.
We're down 19 at the 7-minute mark in the third quarter, and come back and win by, we're up 4, and they hit a 3 at the buzzer, and we win by 1. So no lead's comfortable. I know sometimes people wonder why I don't sub sooner and things like that, and there's reason, and there's just no comfortable lead. So we're up 15, we're up 17, and had a couple shots. So I thought we might be able to get them out of there completely, but we never could. And when you're playing a team that's won 10 in a row and 7-0 in conference and at home, and they're going to make a run. So I don't know if we were just kind of anxiously waiting for that run, or we let it happen or what, but we did. We got a little nervy trying to run a little clock, and then we end up not getting very good shots at the end of the clock, and a couple of those turned into transition baskets for them. But in the end, we ended up kind of settling down and getting the game back under control, and I think we only made 2 out of 4 free throws there, or it would have been a little more comfortable. But all in all, a good, excellent effort considering the week we had. We had a long ride to Emporia on Wednesday with rain and fog the whole way, and then we go through that tough game, get home late, disappointed late, ticked off, sore, just whatever. And then you try to turn around and get ready for a game Friday, and then Friday we go drive in rain and fog and get down there. We go practice and come out of the gym, and it's a blizzard. And had a little bus problem too. We had every chance to be distracted and not play well Saturday, and our kids were having none of it, and they showed up, and really proud of the way we played Saturday, because that was could have turned into a difficult situation.
And I think a lot of it, the play of Tatiana Leggett, her final game in her hometown, 18 points, 8 boards, 33 minutes, at all 5 free throws. And I'm sure her teammates were going to make sure that her last game in her hometown was going to be a W for Fort Hays State, because they all seemed to, I mean, you kind of see them rallying around her, and she had that look in her eye, which we see a lot, but there's times you can just tell she's going to get on my back. Let's go. Yep. We're going to carry you guys.
She was dialed in, and you could see it later in the game when she had that steal on the other end in front of their bench. And I think there was 3 kids from Washburn that had at least a step. A couple of them had 2 steps. And she went by them like they were a stalled car on the interstate, in for a layup. And she was just really, really into it, and you could tell a kid gets a look sometimes, and it's like, she's not going to let you lose, and that was kind of the feeling I got with T. And then the other kids respond to that. I mean, they're playing hard, and T was excellent, and we get spoiled by her once in a while. So if she isn't like that all the time, we get on her a little bit. It'd be hard to play at that fever pitch every minute you're in a game.
And big win, obviously, anytime you beat a rival on the road. But when you looked at it, they hadn't lost a conference game, and they've got some tough ones yet down the road. But that half of the division appears to be, I mean, they play Pitt once. They only play Emporia once. They play you once. I mean, their road to a conference championship probably a little bit easier just on paper of who they have compared to what you have left. So it was pretty imperative if you want to make a legitimate and serious run at the MIAA title, which I'll expect to be there at the end, how to win that game if you're going to do that in more likelihood.
Well, I thought so, and I think the 2 divisions this year, I think at the top there's not a big difference. Right. The top 2 or 3, they have Central, Lindenwood. Lindenwood slipped a little bit last week, and Washburn, and then we have Pitt, Emporia, us, Central Oklahoma. You would think Kearney's still in there, but at the bottom teams don't seem to be quite as competitive. Mm-hmm. They have 3 or 4 down there that are kind of struggling. So, they've already beaten Central, and they've already beaten Emporia. So who's going to get them? So it had to be us to start with, and so it was an important game for just to give them their first loss, to get back up there in a tie for first, and just for our mental health, we really needed that one.
Well, Tigers get the split with the win 59-51 on Saturday. Now they're back at home. Missouri Western and Northwest Missouri State in town this week for games on Thursday and Saturday. We'll take a break and preview the week that is to be here for Fort Hays State. Tiger Talk recorded at Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. Do it over the noon hour on Mondays. Old Chicago, your craft beer authority. 40 rotating draft beers. You can stop by today. It's north of the interstate, Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. We'll take another break. Back with more on Tiger Talk here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Here's Randall, top of the key. Little jab step to her left. Now puts it on the floor. Dribbles to the right. Wanted to pass it to Heim, who was bottled up. Now finds Leggett. T open. Shoots a three-pointer. It goes in. Tatiana Leggett with a dozen. And welcome to the 1,000-point club to the Topeka native. Gets her 1,002nd point here in her hometown of Topeka.
Yeah, that was a nice little moment for Tatiana. 1,008 career points. The 20th Tiger to score 1,000 or more points in women's basketball history, and obviously a great feat. But to do it in Topeka, in her hometown, I'm sure she had know her folks were there, but a lot of friends and family. It's kind of a neat touch to hit a 1,000-point milestone. That's a big deal in college athletics to do that for a program. For her to do it there, that's kind of neat.
Well, it is, and you have to consider a few other things. And T's always been on good teams. She's never been on a team where she was going to shoot it even 15 times a game. And she's so unselfish. She leads us in assists also and rebounds. So she isn't just a scorer. And if you think back over the last 4 years, how many games this our program has won, I don't know if there's how many 1,000-point scores there are. You know, how many of those 20? I don't know if any of them have won more games. So
good point.
She's just been on really good teams, and we're balanced. I mean, our leading scorer is less than 12 a game. So for her to get 1,000 while doing all those other things, and really the first couple years kind of a role player,
right,
is exceptional. And she's just been a real find. I don't know if she found us or I found her, but it was kind of a little of both, you know, when she was being recruited, because she wasn't heavily recruited at all. And that was somebody's loss in our gain, and it was a good deal for us.
That's been fun to watch, and certainly hope the last month and a half of her career end up being just as much fun, because he's been certainly a big cog and a big key for Fort Hays State's success here in her time at Fort Hays State. All right, back at home, Missouri Western on Thursday, and another big game. A Griffin team, you look at their record, not great, but they had a lot of injuries last year, and it affected them early this year. We had a chance to watch them when you hosted the exempt 2 games with the Northern Sun, and they played well, but they're not the same team now they were then. They've had some of those players back, and those that have been back and playing, you can tell they're getting back in the groove. Playing some good basketball. They had a last-second win over Emporia. They had a dominating win over Northwest. I mean, they're playing some good ball right now.
They are. I don't know. They're hard to play because they're defensively they're sound. They're physical. They really man you up. They pressure, which can give us issues at times. They take the charge. They really get back and help, so it makes it difficult for T and Randall to get to the basket like they like to from the elbow. So always a challenge to play them. They'll be ready for us, and like everybody is, they always get excited to play at Gross because it's a nice arena and there's actually people in there and like they're supposed to be. So I think that we'll have a tough one on Thursday, and like you said, they're pretty excited right now about their team because they had a good win over Emporia State. They smoked Northwest Missouri, so they'll be ready for us. And one thing they tend to struggle scoring it just a little bit. So defensively we're going to have to be solid because they're not going to give us very many easy points.
And they do have one of the top scorers in the league, and the offense kind of all revolves around her. And if she goes well, they tend to go well.
And she scores in a variety of ways. She's a good 3-point shooter. I think 37%, which is high in the women's game really, and shoots a bunch of them. She can get to the basket. She's a quick little 5'5", strong, and also has a nice pull-up. So. We'll see how Casey can handle that, to start with. And as much as we switch, we'll all be Gardner. But I'm hoping our length on the perimeter bothers her a little bit, but we're going to have to really be aware of letting her get to the basket. Their point guard also gets the basket well. Not as good an outside shooter as her, but she's a tough little kid too. So they pose some problems. Very athletic, and they're long. We'll have to be smart playing them on Thursday.
This should be a lot of fun, and of course Northwest comes on Saturday afternoon. If the Tigers hopefully can get a good game on Thursday, go for the sweep and get out of here with a couple of wins. But it's good to be back at home. It's only 2 games, but it's amazing with the travel and the weather you mentioned. I mean, it will be nice to be back at the Coliseum.
Yeah, well, last week was just like, I think we were referring to it as our week of hell. Not only do we have to travel in weather 2 times and make 2 separate trips, but the teams we're playing were really good, and they were such important games, and we're locked in with these rival Kansas schools recruiting so much and stuff that they're just important games.
Well, we'll see on Thursday night. Hopefully a big crowd. The students will be back. That'll be fun as well, and should be a good week for Tiger basketball. We'll see you Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Gerard.
There you go. That's head coach Tony Hobson. Again, the Tiger women Thursday night at 5:30, Missouri Western. Then Saturday at 2, the Bearcats at Northwest Missouri State. Tiger Talk brought to you by Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room, home of the World Beer Tour. 110 beers from around the world. You can ask for details the next time you're here at Old Chicago and begin your World Beer Tour. Old Chicago, your pizza and craft beer authority. We'll take another break. Head coach Mark Johnson for the Tiger men will join us here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Hi, everyone. This is Gerard Welbrock inviting you to join us for Tiger Talk. We record it over the noon hours, Mondays at Old Chicago, north of the interstate in Hayes, and play back at 6 o'clock Monday nights on Tiger Radio Mix 103. You can also catch it on Eagle TV's Channel 14 and 614, Tuesday and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., and always on HaysPost.com. So join us for Tiger Talk over the noon hour, Mondays at Old Chicago. To his right, plays it up top to Bitston, back to Aaron on the right wing. Little jab step, fires a three. Yes, another three for Aaron Nicholson. Are you serious? 24 from Aaron, a new career high for Nicholson.
Yeah, that was some of the action from Wednesday night at White Auditorium in Emporia. Quite a shooting display by the Tigers as they go on and beat the Emporia State Hornets. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, recorded Mondays over the noon hour at Old Chicago, the place to watch your favorite, well, I guess now basketball games. Now the football season is over. One more game to go. And while you're in, join the OC Rewards program. It's free to all new members who receive a free appetizer for up to $10 after their first transaction. Old Chicago, it's your pizza and craft beer authority. We are joined by men's coach Mark Johnson. A split for the Tiger men, losing Saturday in Topeka to Washburn, but a very nice win over Emporia State on Wednesday. And we heard the highlight there from Aaron. Quite a ball game for Nicholson. He went 7 of 9 from 3. Jared Bitston continued his hot shooting, 6 out of 7. You hit 17 threes and 29 attempts. You're going to win most. Well, you should probably win about every night. And that was just fun to watch and a great shooting display by your team on Wednesday night.
Yeah, we shot the ball well at Central Oklahoma right before that. And then, we took it to another level. I think Aaron and Jared combined were 13 of 16 from 3 and just really needed every one. We were down at half, and they made a little run to cut it to 4. And really, it's sometimes the difference in the game from Wednesday to Saturday is late in the game we just made big shot. Aaron Nicholson had 2 really hard threes that he made. Marcus Cooper hit 4 feet beyond the line at the end of the shot clock, and so that gets you to victory instead of missing those, and you end up barely losing. But really good performance, played really well. Our offense has really gotten better as the year has gone on, and offensively we're a much better team. Really we are today than even right before Christmas break. We were struggling a little bit right before we headed out to Christmas. Guys were getting a lot better ball movement, and really at times, the difference is Jared has gained some confidence in making some shots. He was, instead of averaging 5 points a game, he had that stretch of Central Oklahoma and Emporia where he averaged 19. Well, that's 14 more points. You score 14 more points a night as a team, you're going to win. And so better execution, and then guys stepping up, making shots a little better have allowed us to be a little more successful.
Jared went 0 for 2 from 3 against Washburn on Saturday, and they were kind of locked in on him. He caught the ball. He had a big guy on him all the way. But you can even tell when he shot it. Those 2 didn't go, but he's stepping up with a lot more confidence. I think expecting them to go in now instead of hoping they go in.
Yeah, I think him and Aaron both are playing with a little more confidence. And, Washburn, the way you have to score against Washburn, you have to either be able to drive it or throw it inside. They're not going to give you any real shots on the perimeter. That's just, how they do it. And that allowed Marcus Cooper to get to the foul line 9 times. Brady had a pretty good night and all that. So, I think both those guys, though, were just playing with a lot more confidence and not just being hesitant. And the same thing with Aaron. Aaron can do more than just stand there and shoot it. He can finish at the rim and get to the rim a little bit more than he shows at times. And I think he's starting to do that a little more often.
And going back to the Emporia State game, that was you knew they were going to play well. They shoot it well on their home floor, but you didn't send them to the free throw line. I know they still shot a pretty high percentage for the contest, a little bit higher than you'd like to give up, but you didn't let them get a lot of free throws, and that was kind of the story the first time you played them at Hayes. I think they shot 30-some times, and kind of their MO, they all season have gotten to the line a lot more and made a lot more free throws than their opponents, but you didn't really allow that to be a factor in the game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, we did a better job at our place. They made or shot 34 free throws. It's hard to win when you give up 34 free throws. And then I think Wednesday they only shot 10, and they only made 5 of them too. So I mean that was probably, I'm assuming, well over a 20-point difference this time around from the foul line as far as not giving them points compared to our place. And I thought we did a really good job. And then honestly too, at times it's pretty simple. I thought we got a good called game. You know what I mean? I mean, that's, at home, at some of those times when they drove, I felt like we got some tough calls and hands up, and sometimes that's just the way it goes. And we did a good job of not fouling, getting our hands up, and the refs saw that and didn't allow them to go to the line.
And Wednesday, man, such a very entertaining game with Washburn, back and forth, and overcame an early deficit and had it tied late in the half and down 4 at halftime, then put together that great run. And, boy, just thought you might pull it out. You had that 7-point lead, about 5 minutes to go, and just felt like you got to hit a wall and ran out of gas there down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, just disappointing. You feel like you have – we talk about every time when you're coming down, every time out in a close game coming down the stretch, the 3 things we say we have to do to win that game, we did not do. We talk every time now we're coming down. It's not about making big plays or doing anything fantastic. It's about getting defensive stop, getting the rebound, and then on offense, don't turn the ball over. And if you look in that last 5.5 minutes of the game, we only had 9 turnovers for the game. Before the game started, I would have taken that and been thrilled with only 9 turnovers. Unfortunately for us, we turned it over 4 times in the last 5 minutes. They scored 6 out of 8 possessions. And now part of that was our turnovers they got out in transition, but it goes back to the things we talked about. You got to get stops. We didn't do that. They scored 6 out of 8 times, and then you can't turn it over. We turned it over 4 times. And that's what we did ourselves in. And give them credit for making the shots and speeding us up and getting the turnovers. But, I mean, that's how you win close games. Get a stop, get a rebound, don't turn it over, and you will win that game, and we were just unable to do that. So that was, disappointing, and, we let one slip away, and it's always, it's just a part of sports and being in coaching. You're never happy in the fact that, as the week starts, of course we're trying to win every game. We want to win every game. But before that week starts, you go, hey, you win at Emporia and you play a really competitive game against Washburn. You walk away, you're not entirely happy, but you feel pretty good about it. But the way it all turned out, it's just disappointing week because we really had a chance to win both those games and have go from a really good week to just one of the best weeks we could have possibly had all season. 2 great road wins were, in second place by ourselves, 7-1, and just, could have been something really, really good. And we can't, let that affect us going into this week. Hopefully you learn from it and understand what it takes to win the games at the end.
Well, and you look at both your conference losses. I mean, you probably felt you let them get away, couldn't throw it in the ocean at Central Missouri, but you bounced back from that one and played well. You're going to have to do that again, but hopefully they can do that because you have been playing some really good basketball right now.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that at practice today, actually. It was just, guys, we're 2 7-point leads in the second half from being 8-0 and in first place. But we're also a few possessions away from being 2-6. And that's this league, and that's how close it is. And a play here, a foul there, a shot made there, a turnover changes it all, and all that stuff. But yeah, we need to bounce back. I mean, really, we talked about it immediately after the Washburn game, and because I believe it's true. The Missouri Western game might be as important of a game as we have played all season and will play all season. It's a game we really need to take care of business and win at home. And you look at their team; they're an unusual team. They have struggled mightily at home. I think they're 1-6 or 1-7 in all their games at home. They're 0-5 in conference play at home, but they have a really good road record. They're undefeated in the conference on the road. They have a good road record in non-conference. I don't know if they sometimes at home, you play to the crowd because it's your home crowd and you're not locked in. You're more about putting on a show. and you get away from home and you just kind of lock in and play the game, and you worry about winning the game, and you worry you don't get so consumed with how you're doing as an individual, and that might be a situation here. So they're a more dangerous team on the road than they are at home. So we need to be really ready to play. They're a much improved, much better team, talent-wise and confidence-wise than they have been in the last couple of years.
Tiger Talk recorded live at Old Chicago Mondays during the noon hour, so make your plans to join us next week for lunch, where you can try one of the great pizzas with dough made fresh daily. It's Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room north of the Interstate in Hayes. We'll talk more about Thursday night's opponent, Missouri Western, when we return. Our final segment coming up next right here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
As you plan for your business in 2018, advertising should be an important part of your growth strategy. Digital marketing puts your business in front of the right customers online. Advertising with the Hayes Post ensures your message will be viewed 1.5 million times a month, including 375,000 unique views a week. Are you ready to grow your business? Advertise with us today. It's affordable and it works. Call us today at 785-628-0467. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
15 to shoot. O'Neal approaches to the lane. Now kicks it back up top to Cooper. Three-pointer. Good! He knocked it in! And Fort Hays State has the lead. 54-51. Marcus Cooper with 15 points. Back-to-back Fort Hays State three-pointers, and they're on top for the first time since the 7-minute mark of the first half.
That was Marcus's only three on Saturday, but it was a big one. Got the Tigers a lead. They'd push it up to 7. Unfortunately, couldn't quite hold on and lost to the Ichabods at Lee Arena. We're at Old Chicago, where you can stop by for lunch or any time for that matter. Burgers, sandwiches, salads, distinctive taproom fare. You'll find it at Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. Serious craft brews, seriously good food. Tigers at home here on Thursday. Marcus playing at the best level. I think he's got 20 or more points in 3 of the last 4, and saw it at Emporia, saw it a little bit the week before. I mean, he's taken this game to a new level, and it's obviously made a big difference for you guys here as of late.
Yeah, and he's making some threes. He didn't make a whole lot, but he's not just settling for that. He's getting to the rim. He got to the foul line 9 times against Washburn, and he's really about the only guy on our team that's really going to get fouled a lot. We just don't have enough guys, and you got to be able to get to the free throw line and get some easy points. That's probably the thing that on offensively for us, we don't get a lot of easy baskets. But the 2 guys that can kind of get us an easy basket is Marcus can drive it, get to the rim, make a layup, or get fouled, and then just throwing it in the post for Brady. But other than that, we don't get a lot of easy baskets, so it's important that he's more in attack mode and doing it at the right time and in the right way, and I think he's gotten better at that as the season has gone on.
Knock on wood, but you talk about getting to the line. You're shooting the free throws a lot better. That's been a bit of a struggle this year against guys we saw hit them last year, so it's in there, but it's starting to click and hit some free throws, which is going to be important, I think, down the stretch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, the talent level in this league is so close from top to bottom that free throws can make a difference, like I said, between barely winning or barely losing. And, free throws, we've said it all, it's just like, it's kind of like the flu or the cold. One person gets it, it can be passed along pretty quickly throughout your team. And, it's amazing. You as a team, you get off to a good start shooting free throws. Usually that carries over the rest of the game. You got the first couple guys who miss them early. Now all of a sudden it kind of leaks into the other guys,
and it's contagious,
and it becomes a tough shooting night. So, but yeah, we're doing a better job, and we got to continue to do a better job of making our free throws.
You kind of touched on Missouri Western. I think they've already surpassed last year's win total, and they got a new head coach in Sundance Wicks. He's trying to change the culture, bring some energy, and all of those things that go along with it. And you can see when they play harder, they play better on the defensive end. They don't seem to have those lapses that you maybe have seen in the past. They've always had good talent. They still do, but they seem to be playing much, much better and more as a team than they have for a while.
Yeah, I mean, they got a little more, one, they've got a point guard, and the point guard position is so critical. If you have a good point guard, usually you can have a pretty good team, and he's a freshman. And he's a really athletic kid, and I think he's had a nice stretch of putting 20 or more points on, maybe 5 of the last 7 games, something like that. And so he's made them better, and then they just got they got better size on the perimeter, not so much of their center position, but I mean the Hudson kid's much improved And I think they just have more overall size and athleticism that I think helps them defensively. And, yeah, this is a much better team than they've been in the last few years. So, we'll have to be ready to go and be ready to play like we do every MIAA game, no matter home or away.
I know you put your focus, because as you said, is the most important game up to this point this season. But then a great opportunity on Saturday. Northwest Missouri State haven't been to Hayes very often. Played a year ago, first time in like 3 years. But they lose Justin Pitts. Everybody thought they would drop a little bit, and here they are undefeated, second-ranked team in the country. And they can all shoot threes. They're just an incredibly difficult matchup.
They just keep it going. And unfortunately, I've had two coaches who we've played have already played them, and before the game tell me, and this is from two different coaches, not one. They're like, I don't mean to alarm you, but I think they're better this year than they were a year ago. And
wonderful.
That's pretty scary. What they do, the two things they do is they shoot the ball at an unbelievably high rate from three, and then there's their size. They have a guard, a little point guard who's a nice player, but then it's 6'7", 6'7", 6'7". They all shoot the ball extremely well. It's hard to close out to guys that are 6'7". They just shoot over you. You try to switch a lot of their action now. They got more guys that can just dive into the post and take. We switch Kyler because we can't guard the ball screen, the pick and pop. We switch. Well, now they're just going to take our guard down low. You know what I mean? And I think, defensively, they've always just done enough. You know what I mean? And I know they like I always say, people get too caught up into the scoring defense. That is a total reflection of pace of play. Field goal percentage defense and turnovers forced is how you dictate a defense. But and they do just enough in their size at 6'7", makes it so difficult. I think really what helps their defense more than anything is they're so efficient offensively that you just can't keep up. And you start to panic on your end offensively. You start rushing things. You take bad shots. You make bad plays because it's just human nature that they score. You look up, oh, my gosh, we're down 10. I got to go make something great happen. And you just play into their hands. So it's a game where you can't shut them out. You just try to do the best you can and then hope you can keep somewhat pace and not panic and try to do too much on offense and just be what you do. Just do what you do on offense. But it'll be a big challenge and a big test. But, if we got to win Thursday. If we win Thursday, then it's just a great opportunity for our guys. Let's just go give them our best shot. And if we play really well and it's on our home floor, that's going to give us a chance. So, but Thursday's the big one for us for sure.
All right, well, it should be a lot of fun. The Griffins come to town Thursday night. Coach, we appreciate it. We'll see you Thursday night. Hopefully it's a start of a good weekend of Tiger basketball.
All right, thanks, Rod.
Anyway, that's head coach Mark Johnson of the Fort Hays State Tigers. As, again, the women and the men doubleheaders coming up on Thursday and Saturday. Thursday, 5:30, 7:30 with Missouri Western. Saturday at 2 and 4 with Northwest Missouri State. Don't forget, you can catch the video replay of Tiger Talk Tuesday and Wednesdays, 10 a.m., 7 p.m. on Eagle Cable Channel 14 and 614. You can always watch it online. It's at HayesPost.com. Tiger Talk presented by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute. It's part of the University of Kansas Health System. The Taco Shop, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, BTI, Horizon Appliance and Mattress, Valley Hope of Norton, and Eagle Communications. And, of course, presented as always on your home for Tiger Talk, Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. It's your craft beer authority, Old Chicago. They're north of the interstate in Hayes. Serious craft brews, seriously good food. It's Old Chicago. We'll talk to you again next Monday. We'll hope to see you Thursday and Saturday for Tiger basketball out at the Coliseum. Until then, it's Gerard Wellbrock saying so long, everyone.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at HayesPost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.